Hello, hello, hello.
Well, howdy ho.
Good morning, Rekkr.
Good morning, Claire.
No,
How are we doing today?
it is morning for me because I just got up a little while, like an hour, 2 hours ago or so. But,
Mm,
but it's like evening here, like dinner time here on the East Coast. Hello, everybody. Hello on YouTube and on Twitch and on Kick. Are you live too, Rick? Did you join?
oh, no, I'm not. Oh, well.
Okay. Hello to my kick and my Twitch. And, those of you on Rekker's kick and Twitch, well, he don't care about you today. Forget it. You know, it's that kind of
Nope.
day. It's
Yep.
that kind of day. We were just talking about how laid back we both were. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a shorter chapter. It's a good chapter though. It's got its twist. I thought. Mhm.
It does.
It does. It does. No. Well, we're here to talk about Robert Greene's book, The 48 Laws. There are 48 of them, and we're doing them one law at a time, one stream, one law, one chapter. And it it was bumpy in the beginning for me
Mm-hmm.
because Robert Greene, like he's traveling in this lane that is very well, there's only one way to put it. It's very self-serving.
It
And
is. It is
and
very,
I
very self-serving.
and even though I am, pretty much a go-getter and I do what I want, I'm pretty out there with my opinions and stuff. I do try to keep the self-serving part in check a bit because it's so easy to roll over people and stuff, and I do try not to.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of what he says, I'm like, really? Like, that's not very, like, I'm always going, that's not very nice, Robert. Like, that's not very nice. Like, that's no way to win friends, Robert. Like, nobody's gonna like you, Robert. Like, but here's the truth of it. Robert's whole mission, he don't care. He
No.
wants to accomplish his goal, and his laws, well, they will get you to where you want. And then what you have to do about it later, it's up to you. What, you know, I think from the start, right, Rick, we said we want to find a way to soften them to everyday life because there is a
Yeah, just
kernel
make
of
them
truth.
more applicable to like day to day, a way that won't completely and utterly alienate you from everyone around you if you decide
Yeah,
to take to heart what he's saying.
yeah, exactly. And make it like a mission statement or something. But, it's, yeah. And sometimes that goes really well. We just have to put a little salt or sugar on it. Other
Mm-hmm.
times, it feels like trying to make cod liver
Or
oil
MSG.
palatable. Yeah. Well, MSG work amplifies everything. Like, that would be,
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, and nobody really likes cod liver oil, so sometimes it's an impossible task.
Mm-hmm.
But other times, like this one's not so bad. Although I'm going to tell you the title, the people, and it sounds really bad from the start. It does. What do you say? You ready?
Ready when you are.
Mm. I don't think today's the day you should let me drive the boat.
Then it's the perfect day to let you drive the boat.
You are such an adventurer. You're a danger hose. I'm telling you, you like to walk on that line. This is not good. Anyway, the title of
Walk
this
on the
story.
line?
No, well, tightrope walk on the line, maybe. Yeah. The title for of this chapter is "Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit." Which sounds rude and harsh. Yeah, in general, but when we get through with it, you'll see it's really kind of not. It kind of makes sense, and it's kind of something that happens every single day in different, what would you say, quantities, so qualitatively.
Yeah.
um
To
but it does happen.
different
Yeah,
effects.
yeah, it does happen. you know anyway, he wants us to use the wisdom, knowledge, and legwork of other people to further your own cause. Not only will such assistance save you valuable time and energy, but it'll give you a godlike horror of efficiency. In the end, your helpers will be forgotten and you will be remembered. Everything is done
Ex-
what others can do for you. I don't want the people that help me to be forgotten. Like, I don't know. When I first saw this, right, what's the first thing I said? Like, that's not right. You got to give credit to the people that help you along the way. It's just not.
of course.
It's not kosher. It's not cool. It's not. Well, even though it says it like that, it's not exactly what he means. He's just pointing to the core thing that in order for great efficiencies or even to strive for perfection in any endeavor, you do need many and not the one. So you need multiple hands. And he's just advising that people just don't need to know exactly who those hands are because you need to be in the front of this at all times so that it's yours, especially if it's your endeavor, your goal, your project, you know. So even though you got a whole bunch of people behind you and backing you and doing things with you, um, you've got to look like the Machiavelli who's pulling all the strings at all times. Like you got to be the one in control and getting all the credit for it, right? Did,
Mm.
did I? Did you? Are you awake?
I am, but StreamYards is washing you out. I'm trying to hear what you're saying.
Oh no! Did I lose? Okay. How about out there? Did you guys out there on YouTube and Kick and Twitch? Did you hear anything? Did somebody tell me? Did you lose? Is my audio bad?
It's probably just me.
You pushed the not now bear button,
Uh,
didn't you?
Now I can hear you properly. Okay.
Oh, so you did push the not now bear button, didn't you?
Apparently, I hit the button that was like, I turned the quiet bear down knob.
Yeah, that's a bit much, Bear. He's got a button, people. Like, this is true story. It's like, okay. Anyway, we'll go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about the historical example. We're going to go right to the book because this is a great example of what we're talking about here about getting credit and how this is something that's done all the time because we're going to go all the way back to the 1800s, in early 1900s. It talk about Edison versus Tesla, and
Exactly.
it doesn't have an observation and a and another transgression. It doesn't give us two different stories because the same story tells us how this works and how it's good and how it's bad at the same time from different perspectives depending on whose part you look at it for. But I'm gonna let you take it from there, Rekkr, and let you uh, read that
Okay.
out. Yeah.
So, the transgression and observation of the law. In 1883, a young Siberian scientist named Nikola Tesla was working for the European division of the Continental Edison Company. He was a brilliant inventor, and Charles Batchelor, a plant manager and a professional friend of Thomas Edison, persuaded him persuaded him that he should seek his fortune in America, giving him a letter of introduction to Edison himself. So began a life of woe and tribulation that lasted until Tesla's death. When Tesla met Edison in New York, the famous inventor hired him on the spot. Tesla worked 18-hour days finding ways to improve the primitive Edison dynamos. Finally, he offered to redesign them completely. To Edison, this seemed a monumental task that could last years without paying off. But he told Tesla, "There's $50,000 in it for you if you can do it." Tesla labored day and night on the project, and after a year, he produced a greatly improved version of the dynamo, complete with automatic controls. He went to Edison to break the good news and receive his $50,000. Edison was pleased with the improvement for which he and his company would take credit. But when it came to the issue of the money, he told the young Serb, Tesla, Tesla, you don't understand our American humor, and offered a small raise instead.
Oh, just
That's
rude.
cold. That
That's
is.
so damn cold. He like, basically he's just saying, you worked all year. I paid you all year to do this. Like that's the
Mm
now. Like I paid you all year. That's what he's saying. Like you don't understand American humor. I wasn't meaning a bonus, dude. I just mean like, yeah, you'll make money while you do. Like jerk. I don't.
hmm.
Yeah.
Mm hmm.
Okay, boo Edison. Boo.
Like, how do you. How do you. How do you, like. How do you make that seem. How could you do that with a clear conscience?
uh, Edison. I don't know. People do it every day. People
I
in the
guess
game
so,
in the
yeah.
game business. Okay, look at it this way. Sometimes some people, not everybody, but some of those in business treat business like a game. And it's a one up all the time. And if you're not screwing somebody out of a dollar, you're not doing a day's work. Seriously. Like those people are everywhere in industry. Everywhere. You
We're
know,
so lucky we're not allowed to. That violence is illegal because I know a lot of those people would get punched in the face.
listen, point example, when I was a manager and there were higher ups above me. I managed my own department. I was responsible for the reviews and raises and talking to people about their raises or why they weren't getting what they thought they were getting or why they were getting what they were getting. And we had
Mm.
a range, okay? And I swear to God, the guy above me came to me and he's like, here's the range. He said, but you should start low because they'll probably accept it. Like, don't give them what you think it's worth. Like, we've got They did excellent work all year. Don't you dare start at the top and just tell them, okay, if the range is from 3.5 to 5% raise, which is pennies, by the way, it's not a lot of money. Okay. Um, we were talking not a lot of money here. But he's like, even if they got a 5-star review, don't you start at five? Like, 'cause they'll probably be happy with like 4.2. Like, what?
Mm.
It was so against my nature. But yeah, like yeah, even when you're
Damn.
praising your workers, like try to screw them out of a few pennies there because that's a good day's work. Yeah.
If that was a relationship, that would, it's just one straight up toxic relationship.
Kate, and you asked me why I'm so jaded. Like, seriously, yeah. Like, oh,
Jeez.
I mean, yeah. No, serious. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, and don't do that. Like, never think of how businesses run. Don't tie those to your personal relationships. Believe me,
Oh.
you can't do the same thing. We say that about every single chapter, right? Do not apply this to
Mm-hmm.
your personal relationships. You will fail. Like you will get smacked, kicked to the curb, broken up with. Somebody gonna take all your stuff. Like it's not good. Don't do it. Not gonna win you any friends. Yeah. No.
No,
No.
definitely
Not
not.
at all. No. Not at all. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, I should actually put out uh, like a warning. Like I am a big Tesla fan, so the more you talk
Yeah,
about
she's a
Edison,
bit she's a little bit biased.
a little bit, like yeah, I'll admit I'm very biased on the side of Nikola Tesla. Like, I think yeah.
To be fair, when it's Tesla versus Edison, I am biased towards Tesla solely for the fact that Edison did absolutely nothing.
Well, no, it's not true.
Oh,
It's not true.
okay. He gave people money.
No, it's still not true. You ready? You want to know why I say that? Because I
Why?
don't really appreciate what he did. He applied Rule 7 immaculately.
Oh yeah. He did. Absolutely.
And apparently people let him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no. All right, let's tell them the rest of the story.
Okay.
Because it gets
So,
worse. There's
yep.
not even, that's just the tip. That's just the tip.
Mm-hmm. Tesla's obsession was to create an alternating current system, AC, of electricity. Edison believed in the direct current system, DC, and not only refused to support Tesla's research, but later did all he could to sabotage him. Tesla turned the great Pittsburgh magnate George Westinghouse, who had started his own electricity company. Tesla turned to the great Pittsburgh magnate George Westinghouse, who had started his own electricity company. Westinghouse completely funded Tesla's research and offered him a generous royalty agreement on future profits. The AC system Tesla developed is still the standard today, but after patents were filed in his name, other scientists came forward to take credit for the invention, claiming that they had laid the groundwork for him. His name was lost in the shuffle, and the public came to associate the invention with Westinghouse himself.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Poor
A year
Tesla.
later, Westinghouse was caught in a takeover bid from J. Pierpont Morgan, or J.P. Morgan, who made him rescind the generous royalty contract he had signed with Tesla. Westinghouse explained to the scientist that his company would not survive if it had to pay him his full royalties. He persuaded Tesla to accept a buyout of his patent for 260,000, a large sum, no doubt, but far less than the 12 million they were worth at the time. That's
That's at the time.
crazy.
If it was 12 million back then, imagine like now that's billions, billions.
That that
It's like
has to be like
that's like being
crazy
offered
numbers.
right. It's like being offered $1 million for $1 billion contract. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
the difference. Like I mean, Tesla thought he was doing okay, but I mean, that's the light bulb. You know, Westinghouse is the big light bulb company. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
big electric company. They push this. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And J.P. Morgan knew what he was doing. He could not. They wouldn't be able. They would make much more money if no one was tied to that product for
Yep.
royalties. So they
That's
had to
why
get
you
rid of all
always want to
strings.
keep
Yeah.
hold of your masters.
This from an artist. Yep. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, it's heartbreaking. How can you not be on Tesla's side here? I
Exactly.
swear, I swear, I want to go back in time and smack him. Like, snap out of it. Like, what? These people are taking advantage of you. Like, wake up, dude. Like, seriously.
Yep. The financiers had divested Tesla of his riches, the patents, and essentially the credit for the greatest invention of his career.
Mhm.
The name of Guglielmo Marconi is forever linked with the invention of radio, but few know that in producing his invention, he broadcast a signal across the English Channel. In 1899, Marconi made use of a patent Tesla had filed in 1897, and that his work depended on Tesla's research. Once again, Tesla received no money and no credit. Tesla invented an induction motor as well as the AC power system, and he is the real father of the radio. Yet none of these discoveries bear his name, and an old man he lived in as an old man he lived in poverty. In 1917, during his latter impoverished years, Tesla was told he was to receive the Edison Medal of American Institute of Electrical Engineers. He turned the medal down. "You propose," he said, "to honor me with a medal which I can pin upon my coat and strut for a vain hour before the members of your institute. You would decorate my body and continue to let starve for failure to supply recognition, my mind and its creative products, which have supplied the foundation upon which the majority portion of your institute exists."
Yeah, it's called the Edison Medal of Electrical Engineers. When
Mm-hmm.
Tesla invented all of that and Edison stole it.
Exactly.
That was rude. That was totally rude. You know?
Mm-hmm. And
It's
yes, autistic. Well, Googly Elmo is pretty much the best way I'm going to pronounce his name.
I thought Guglielmo Marconi. I thought you did very well. You threw a little Italian accent in there with that. That was good. Guglielmo Marconi. Yeah, no, it's good. I think it's good. And anybody corrects you, it was good. Anyway, you don't remember in Reputation, the
Mm.
story of what Edison did to Tesla about not getting actual awards to sharing the credit for the Nobel
Yep.
Peace Prize, that Edison wouldn't even stand on stage with him and share the credit because he wanted Tesla to get no credit whatsoever. Edison, like, must have got a copy of his book before this book was written. Like, seriously.
Yeah, he had to have created a time travel machine and been like,
Yeah.
look, I found just like go straight to the library.
And yet in
That
school,
actually,
when they talk about electricity, it's all about Edison. And it was
mm-hmm,
like, yeah, he was the master manipulator. He was the one pulling the strings and everything like that. But he wasn't the inventor. He did
mm-hmm,
more. Like, that's great debate. Like, I will go to the mat for Nikola Tesla. I will. It was a brilliant mind. He just wasn't a sharp businessman at all.
no,
He just like he was more into doing the inventing and doing the science and being creative. And he needed a really good manager. He really did.
yeah, he really. If he had someone to actually manage his financial affairs, he would have done way better.
I tell you what, if Nikola Tesla had a bear in his life, you wouldn't even know the name Thomas Edison. Mm-mm. It's like
Exactly.
Exactly. You need a good rep. This is another thing, like the things you can't do well yourself, find somebody who can, so you still get the credit for it. Now, if
Yes.
Nikola Tesla had a bear in his life, the bear would be behind the scenes. And it would all make Nikola Tesla look really good, right? And nobody would have to know about all the knives I was throwing in Toby's Edison's back and stuff like that. But,
Exactly.
all the things that I was doing. But Nikola Tesla, he would look good. He would look like he was in control and it was all him and he was the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how this chapter works, right? Like, you know, to take the
Mm-hmm.
credit. Oh, but man, Edison is a dog. Edison is one damn dog. A very
Oh,
profitable dog, very successful dog, but
yeah,
a
one that
dog.
knows how to actually find the bones.
Yeah, he's definitely a dog nonetheless. The more I learn about him, the more I'm just like, hang him. And like when I was in school, they put him out like he was a hero. Like, hmm.
I, I think even here, even in New Zealand, they were like, "Oh yeah, Thomas Edison was this amazing inventor
They
who
forgot a
like
word.
created the telephone and all this other stuff." And it's like,
Oh, that was Graham Bell. That
oh
wait. Yeah. But anyway,
no, the
Edison.
light bulb. I mean,
Yeah, the light bulb, right? But they forgot two words in there. Like Edison was a great inventor. No, Edison was a stealer of great inventions.
yes,
It's more appropriate. Yes, they just what's forgetting a few words, like it just changes the whole context interpretation of the statement. But oh well, we was we
yeah.
was we were saving
What's a
ink.
little theft between inventors?
How often does saving a little ink build a reputation erroneously? Seriously, like just leave out those two words. you know, really crazy. Anyway,
I mean, who really wants to waste time on like crediting someone properly?
who does or who should?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody should. Not least
No,
to.
no.
Yes,
It
yes.
takes way too much time to credit everyone. You just say that you did it, and then and then pretend that anyone else who's complaining that you don't credit them, just say that they're detractors, that they're haters.
The troll theory. Oh God,
Yep.
like, this is
Yeah, they're
very,
they're
very
trolling.
common on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, yes, a YouTube. Did you hear me? I can't even talk. I should have stayed in bed. That's what the holiday was. It was stay in bed Saturday. I forgot all about it. Oh damn.
Yes.
Mm. Anyway, that is definitely a common theory. Just say they're detractors, sour grapes. They're jealous. They're trolls. They're just trolling.
Yep. It's
Ah,
easy doing it that way.
I still would rather be a Tesla than an Edison. Yeah.
You and me both.
Ah, well, since you're joining me, I can finish up with the interpretation for us, everybody out there.
Okay, so the interpretation. Many harbor the illusion that science, dealing with facts as it does, is beyond the petty rivalries that trouble the rest of the world. Nikola Tesla was one of those. He believed science had nothing to do with politics and claimed not to care for fame and riches. As he grew older, though, this ruined his scientific work. Not associated with any particular discovery, he could attract no investors to his many ideas. While he pondered great inventions for the future, others stole the patents he had already developed and got the glory for themselves. He wanted to do everything on his own, but merely exhausted and impoverished himself in the process. Edison was Tesla's polar opposite. He wasn't actually much of a scientific thinker or inventor. He once said that he had no need to be a mathematician because he could always hire one. That was Edison's main method. He was really a businessman and a publicist, spotting the trends and opportunities that were out there, then hiring the best in the field to do the work for him. If he had to, he would steal from his competitors, yet his name is much better known than Tesla's, and is associated with more inventions. The lesson is twofold. First, the credit for an invention or creation is as important, if not more important, than the invention itself. You must secure the credit for yourself and keep others from stealing it away from piggybacking on your hard work. To accomplish this, you must always be vigilant and ruthless, keeping your creation quiet until you can be sure there is no vultures circling overhead. Second, learn to take advantage of other people's work to further your own cause. Time is precious and life is short. If you try to do it all on your own, you run yourself ragged, waste energy, and burn yourself out. It is far better to conserve your focus, pounce on the work others have done, and find ways to make it your own. So,
Wow.
there is how do I put it? People still will use I guess like people still do use other people's work in 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 the scientific field, except nowadays you have to actually cite it,
Hmm.
and and like people also will reference certain like creations um when they're developing something.
Hmm.
So when a fun little fact, uh, when it comes to electronics, if you buy an IC, which is integrated circuit, it's like the little chips that you see.
Hmm.
You can actually look up and download uh, their their um,
The schematic.
schematics,
Yeah.
the schematics for it, and often in the schematics it'll have an example circuit that utilizes the IC in a particular way, and it's not uncommon for people to actually just take the schematic and the wiring diagram of that chip and just build off of that. Is
Mm.
very, very common. And why not? To be honest, like
Well, if it
if you
works, yeah, why not?
yeah, if you're buying, say, for instance, a a Bluetooth chip, a chip that's designed to translate Bluetooth signals into usable data, why not just build the circuit that's already been basically developed and is there for you to use?
True, true. No, I don't blame them. I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
can make the job easier, I mean, that's not bad. But like, don't you like when you do things like that with creating something new or um like in music or literature or even what we're doing now, you give Robert Greene full credit for the book he wrote, no matter what we say about it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so do they have to list it when you're using the schematic for the IC? Do you have to list it, like, oh, no matter what you do in your
Believe it or
footnotes or in
not,
your
when it comes to that kind of thing, you don't. You
really?
actually, yeah, no, you don't have to say that you used their schematic.
Really? But are the schematics patented?
Um, no, it's the chip itself that would be patented. So you can actually take the chip and use it any way you want to, and as long as you basically
Change it. Yeah.
change the circuit in some small way, like add something to it or take something away from it,
Then you just repat
it's
it. Yeah.
then it's
Oh, okay.
basically yours. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, like I don't
Hmm.
understand why the original person doesn't get like credit. Like I don't know. Just seems
I
wrong.
guess in a way they get credit by the sole fact that you're using their product.
Yeah, I guess. I get that makes sense. That does. That does. Hmm. Do you want to read Mister I'm a cheater, I'm a crud, I'm a dog, Edison's quote?
Yes.
I
So
can't. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Um,
Edison is allegedly quoted in saying, "Everybody steals in commerce and industry. I've stolen a lot myself, but I know how to steal."
Good on you, dude. Yes, definitely you do. Like, definitely you do. Like, what? I, he's teaching us to listen well. It's like so,
Mm-hmm.
but Green doesn't leave it at that. Of course, he's going
No.
to educate us a little bit here about business and power and how we're supposed to accomplish these endeavors. But in the keys to power section of the chapter, he says the world of power has the dynamics of the jungle. There are those who live by hunting and killing, and there are also vast numbers of creatures, like hyenas and vultures, who live off the hunting of others. These later these latter, less imaginative types are often incapable of doing the work that is essential for the creation of power. They understand early on, though, that if they wait long enough, they can always find another animal to do the work for them. Do not be naive. At this very moment, while you are slaving away on some project, there are there are vultures circling around trying to figure out a way to survive and even throw off your creativity. It is useless to complain about this or to wear yourself ragged with bitterness, as Tesla did. Better to protect yourself and join the game. Once you have established a power base, become a vulture yourself and save yourself a lot of time and energy. It's an important line there. Once you have established a power base.
Yes.
Yeah. Of the two poles of this game, one can be illustrated by the example of the explorer Vasco Nunes de Balboa. Balboa had an obsession: the discovery of El Dorado, a legendary city of vast riches. Early in the 16th century, after countless hardships and brushes with death, he found evidence of a great and wealthy empire in the south of Mexico, in present day Peru. By conquering this empire, the Incan, and seizing its gold, he would make himself the next Cortez. The problem was that even as he made this discovery, word of it spread around hundreds of other conquistadors. He did not understand that half the game was keeping it quiet and carefully watching those around him. A few years after he discovered the location of the Incan Empire, a soldier of his own army, Francisco Pizarro, helped to get him beheaded for treason. And Pizarro then went on to take what Balboa had spent so many years trying to find. The other pole is that the artist Peter Paul Rubens, who late in his career found himself deluged with requests for paintings, he created a system. In his large studio, he employed dozens of outstanding painters, one specializing in robes, another in backgrounds, and so on. He created a vast production line in which a large number of canvases would be worked on at the same time. When an important client would visit the studio, Rubens would shoo all the hired painters away for the day. And while the client watched from a balcony, Rubens would work at an incredible pace with unbelievable energy. The client would leave in awe of this prestigious man who could paint so many masterpieces in so short a time. This is the essence of the law. Learn to get others to do the work for you while you take credit, and you appear to be of godlike strength and power. If you think it is important to do all the work yourself, you will never get far, and you will suffer the fate of the Balboas in the Teslas of the world. Find people with skills and creativity that you lack. Either hire them while putting your own name on top of theirs, or find a way to take credit for their work and make it your own. Their creativity thus becomes yours, and you seem like a genius to the world. There is another application of this law that does not require the parasitic use of your contemporaries' labor. Use the past, a vast storehouse of knowledge and wisdom. Isaac Newton called this standing on the shoulders of giants. He meant that in making his discoveries, he had built on the achievements of others. A great part of this aura of genius, he knew, was attributable to his shrewd ability to make the most of the insights of ancient and medieval and Renaissance scientists. Shakespeare borrowed plots, characterizations, and even dialogue from Plutarch, among other writers, for he knew that nobody surpassed Plutarch in the writing of subtle psychology and witty quotes. And now, how many later writers have in their turn borrowed from, plagiarized Shakespeare? We all know how few of today's politicians write their own speeches. Their own words would not win them a single vote. Their eloquence and wit, whatever there is to it, they owe to a speechwriter. Other people do the work and they take the credit. The upside of this is that it is a kind of power that is available to everyone. Learn to use the knowledge of the past, and you'll look like a genius, even when you are really just a clever borrower. Writers who have delved into human nature, ancient masters of strategy, historians of human stupidity and folly, kings and queens who have learned the hard way how to handle the burdens of power. Their knowledge is gathering dust, waiting for you to come and stand on their shoulders. Their wit can be your wit, their skill can be your skill, and they will never come around to tell people how unoriginal you really are or that you took it. You can slog through life making endless mistakes, wasting time and energy trying to do things from your own experience, or you can use the armies of the past. As Bismarck once said, fools say that they learn by experience. I prefer to profit by others' experience. Oh, I didn't know he said that. Mm. Oh boy. Well, that's something. More thefts at heart. I should be more upset about all this thievery, but I'm actually not. You know,
Well,
I'm really not.
there is something to I guess his the other application of the law where you're
Hmm.
using past information to improve what you're doing now. It's
Hmm.
it's very it's I mean it's good. It's good to do that.
Hmm.
Like if you don't no one so
Well,
no
your
one
your
ever
chip example. You should
no
say
one ever
that.
created something original ever. No one has ever you can
I
take this
hear
to the
that.
bank. No
Yeah,
one has ever created anything original.
right. It's
Um
been done before. All of it. All of it.
everything everything is just a derivative of something else.
True. True. And that's
And
how
that's
your
not a
chip
bad thing.
example. No, it's not a bad thing. Like your chip example. You get
Yeah.
to use the schematics of the chip in certain foundational parts of it, and then alter it to do what you want to do. But you're using the expertise and the creativity of somebody who created that chip in the first place. Put it all
Mm-hmm.
together like a map for you.
Yep.
And then you take it from there and run it. And there's nothing wrong with it. That's using like what? Why start all over? Why
Mm-hmm.
create the original? Old like why start from the start if you don't have to? You get a jump start.
Well,
How,
my
like,
my best way to explain it is you can't build a bridge if you've never walked across one.
there you go. There you go. And it would be wasting a lot of time to
Mm-hmm.
trial and error on that bridge, right? Mm.
Yep.
So no, I get it. And there are real good, it is everyday life. It is happening all around us all the time. Okay, so I get it, but it's just like the outright thievery at times when it hits you in the face is a little hard to take, like the
It
Edison
it
story.
it
But
is a
mm,
it can feel very jarring in
mhm,
some cases.
yeah. So that brings us to he ends the part of keys to power with the image and the authority. Would you like to read those?
Yeah. So the image is the vultures of all the creatures in the jungle. The vulture of all the creatures in the jungle, he has it the easiest. The hard work of others becomes his work. Their failures to survive becomes his nourishment. Keep an eye on the vulture. While you are hard at work, he is circling above. Do not fight him, join him.
Ominous. What it does
Mm-hmm.
is there's always going to be people looking for, if they think you're doing, and in a way, it's a compliment. If they're watching you and they think you're doing something creative and stealable, that means it must be pretty good. So,
Exactly.
in a way, it's kind of complimentary, but you got to kind of protect yourself from it too by making sure you take full credit for all your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
I mean,
then,
Tesla could have used a good patent lawyer. Yeah.
yeah, it, or just a patent lawyer in general. Doesn't even need to be a good one.
Or just a lawyer. His
Or
lawyer,
just a
like,
lawyer.
or just a lawyer, because man, he was taking advantage of all over the place. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
but, yeah.
So, the authority. There is much to be known. Life is short, and life is not life without knowledge. It is therefore an excellent device to acquire knowledge from everybody. Thus, by the sweat of another's brow, you win the reputation of being an oracle. Balt, Balt,
Bal-
uh,
Baltazar Gracias.
Balthazar Gracian.
Yeah,
Gracian.
mhm, very nice. He keeps coming up with these zingers. That old Baltazar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we get down into the nuts and bolts of it. This is a very short chapter, which is why like we're reading like most of it right from there. Well, because the concept is like definitely here in everyday life, and it's done all over the place, and it's all when you first hear the words take credit for it. It can sound distasteful and not something that you want to do, but we are all doing it all the time. Okay, and like Rekkr said in the beginning, if I remember, it you do give credit, but you do move your project forward with the face of it, with you being the face of it, you being the main thing. Take for example, this channel. This channel works with the collaboration of many people who come and do conversations with me or help me with research or moderate in the chat. Rekkr has produced music for the intros, like and stuff like that. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not all that. Like if I am not every single piece of what's on this channel, I am pulling it all together, and it's like my preference, and I'm putting my stamp on it, But you give full credit. If you look at every description, it says Rekkr wrote that music, Mate played the bass and produced it, in this and that, like whatever. Anybody that's done anything for the channel gets full credit, including the guests, with the reads we put out for the book and all. Like, so even though you're using the efforts of others to achieve a goal, you do credit them, you know. So there's a way to do it that's not exactly what it sounds like in the book that Green is saying, where nobody knows about it. You know, of course that gets done too, like, and kind of commonplace, you know. But we can get to that a little bit. It's much more common if you look at it in the broader scenes. It's much more common and a lot less harsh as the Edison Tesla story. Like, I mean, I don't feel like Edison. Record, do you feel like Tesla?
Not at all.
Yeah, so you know, there's ways to do it that are like genuine and respectful. Um, but still, if Record tried to tell me what to do on my channel, what do you guys think would happen? Rec, what do you think would happen? Like, right?
Has
No.
anyone seen Rekkr?
It was like you've got to stay in control is my point. Like, it's your channel,
Mm-hmm.
you take control of your channel, but with the credit for everything and the prestige of whatever's going on with the channel, you also have the responsibility and the accountability. So when Record comes up here and says something that maybe YouTube doesn't like,
Me? Say something that YouTube doesn't
don't do
like?
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know what we're talking about. And it wasn't your fault. It was both of us. But yeah, then you got to take the accountability and straighten it out.
Mm-hmm.
In you know, you got to like
Because
fight the
YouTube's a
claim
pussy.
and tell them, don't pull me from the algorithm, you weaklings. Like, it was just like, stop it. Yeah, you got to fight. Well, that responsibility and that accountability falls on you if you're going to be the face of it. Any project that you do, anything that you put forward that you're going to put your name on, whether you're using other people's information or not. You know, it wouldn't be right to turn around and just blame everything on Record. Like, I had nothing to do with it. Just happens to be my channel. I invited him to do we do this series together, 50-50. We're here every week, but I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
It
YouTube's just
wasn't
being a
me.
pussy.
Hey, no. I, I'm telling you right now, if I get that email, you're on the clock. You're on the deck. You are going to answer that email. Okay. Hello, George. Welcome. Oh, but you know, anyway, the key strategic elements. I'll read this one. You read the next one.
Mm-hmm.
There are two methods to implement this, according to Mr. Green. And the first one is the passive vulture approach. Okay, wait and watch while others do the work, then take it from them once it's completed. Like vultures who know that if they wait long enough, another animal will always do the work, providing dinner. Um, in other words, like, instead of like putting on all the hours to tool it, if you know somebody else is working on it or somebody has that great idea, wait till it's done and then use it to your best advantage. The second one is
Exactly.
act. This one's very important. Active orchestration. Actively enlist others to work for you, creating systems and environments where their contributions naturally flow under your name. Team building. You do this in management all the time. Management, the key to management is you're not supposed to actually do the work. You're supposed to supervise the work of others to make, and then take, and then you get credit for how great the department is running. It isn't true. But you are not supposed to do the hands-on. You are supposed to encourage, educate, and implement for everything to be done appropriately to best shine and for the best outcome, and then take full credit, even though you're not the hands doing it. It's supposed to be a hands-off approach, management. So that team building, you know, putting together a team that has all of the skills for what you want to accomplish without you having to do every part of the job. Um, that would be even an author who writes a book. It's all his words, his idea. The story is his concept. But then he's got an editor. that helps polish it, that helps keep it on track. It's like another set of eyes, okay? And then there is the person who does the artwork for the book. There's the publisher. You see what I mean? Like there's a whole team. And then he's got his whole PR team behind him too, who helps push the book out there, who makes all the catchy phrases and makes sure he gets into the spots that it needs to be to promote it, to do book signings or interviews and etc. So that whole idea, the concept of the book, may be the author's, okay, just originally, but all the work that is done to make it successful, a lot of it is coming from behind the scenes, except for the actual writing of it itself. And you'd have to say, when you look at the whole picture, is not that a better product that you end up looking at and a better end result than if he just did everything himself as the author?
More often than not, if there's a team behind something, it comes out much better.
Right,
Because
because like
the
an author, how does he promote himself as successfully as somebody who does it 24/7 as a living, right?
exactly.
So, because if you try to do everything yourself, you're not going to be able to give every part of it 100% because there's only so much in 100%. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, isn't it better to have a whole bunch of people around you who are given 100% than you dividing it up into 10% here and 10% there and 10% there? You know, so it does make sense. Like, it does when you look at it that way, makes perfect sense. As long as you're not outright stealing it, like please, thank your publicist, list your editor and your producers. Like, yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
unless you can get away with it, apparently.
Well, the one thing that Edison violated on Rule 7 is the reputation thing. Maybe not back then. His reputation survived in during the period that he was alive, but it ain't surviving now that the story's out.
No.
I would say his reputation, Edison's reputation, is taking a hit. And from our prior chapter, we're not supposed to ever let that happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what they mean by building up a base first. Like, because you could be looked at as a grifter, you could be looked as a clout chaser, in just, as a user and abuser of people around you if you're doing this without a basis of your own, a reputation of your own first. You got to make sure that that's solid before you start like integrating other people's stuff into everything. So this is where it gets fun. Like, right, when we say that it's everywhere, well, it's everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
In everything.
Absolutely. And so the modern industry applications are technology industry, like as I said, the ICs and stuff, modern
Mm-hmm.
tech leadership, entertainment industry, producer credits, producer credit manipulation, corporate and financial services, manufacturing and healthcare, fashion and industry. Like the modern tech leadership. Actually, we can't use him.
Who? Who?
Um,
Wait.
there are
No,
certain
wait.
there are
Well,
certain
why
uh
don't we use Steve Jobs then? Like, for well,
yes,
wait. Oh, well. Actually, modern tech leadership. I know who you're
or
talking.
Mark Zuckerberg is another good example of someone
Right.
who took credit for a huge invention. Like when you hear
Exactly.
Facebook, you instantly think Mark Zuckerberg, even though he was only one small part of what developed it.
Well, this is the exactly, and he that was like an outright like Edison thing. Well, then when you use the story of Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in the creation of Apple, right, and the split that happened there, um,
Mm-hmm.
the quote used in the book about orchestra really comes from Steve Jobs, because when Steve Jobs was finally confronted by Steve Wozniak about his lack of technical contributions to the platform, because Steve Jobs, although he was an idea man and he was very successful in business, he was not the technical skill behind the product. Steve Wozniak and his team were. And when he was confronted about it, he just explained to them straight out that he was playing the orchestra. using others' skills and devotion to further the creation to be what it would be.
Exactly.
And you know what? People take that story. Wozniak split up and he went his way and he became more like the other version of it. And Steve Jobs went his way with Apple. But here's the thing: without the promotional expertise and without the mission and the business acumen that Steve Jobs had in protecting that product, um, there are two different ways to look at it. Steve Jobs took the isolation way. Apple is its own separate project, and they are very secure in their patents, in their responsibilities, and what you can do with Apple anything, right? Apple gets full credit for everything
Mm-hmm.
everything to do with it. And yet, on Wozniak's part, when they went the other way with open code, open source code, and all of that, it's very easy. Everybody else is making money on that open source code and not them. I see the differences there. So, like Steve Jobs used rule number 7 plus a bunch of other rules and very well. But when you talk about reputation, Steve Jobs is not known as a very nice person, and yet Steve Wozniak still has a pretty solid reputation as a decent guy in business. The people
Yes.
would want to work with him. Where Steve Jobs has a cutthroat kind of, he's all out for himself, even in his personal life. I think Steve Jobs read the 48 laws and actually applied them to his personal life from what I've read. So, he's a perfect example of how not to do it. But nobody could deny his business success though. He
Yes.
built he built an empire, like a pretty solid one that can move forward without him successfully. Um, he created an environment where he was able to use everybody else's skills to position himself as the sole figurehead responsible for that company's success. Steve Jobs, when we think of Apple, we think Steve Jobs. You can't separate the two.
No, you can't.
Yeah. So, and then we have Steve Wozniak. And sometimes people ask me, Steve who? Like what? Who's he? What did he have to do with it? I mean, that's as successful Steve Jobs was. He buried the contributions of everybody else completely.
And I
Yeah.
bet no one can properly name the other person who helped develop Facebook.
No, there were two of them, right? There were two guys
Mm-hmm.
with Mark Zuckerberg. They were all
I
three
think it
together.
was.
Unless you watch
Was
the
it two?
movie. And even in the movie, we probably all watch the movie and we still forget who they are because
I
they're
don't.
just not, yeah, they're not out there.
I never watched the movie.
No, maybe we
Nope.
should. We should have a maybe I'll bring that one up for the next Discord watch,
Mm.
for members and Patreon members and those followers on Twitch and Kick. Well, anyway, they also use it in the entertainment industry in both film and music, right? Producers. What does a producer
Mm-hmm.
do? Grabs the talents of puts their money into it, grabs the talent of everybody else, and gets full credit for the product, right? Um,
Yup.
yeah. Like Steven Spielberg, everybody knows who he is, right? Is he doing
Mm-hmm.
all the work? Is he
Hell
doing the work?
no.
Right. Like, no. David
Or
Fincher, Christopher Nolan, no, no.
another really good example. Uh, why did? Oh crap! The name just ran away from me. The guy who's known for explosions in his movies.
Um,
Michael Bay.
is it? I don't know. Maybe the big ones. Does he
I
get
don't
credit?
know, but
Yeah.
but like he's not the one actually making the explosions. He's simply just the idea. He just has the idea of what the explosion has to be, and then he gets bomb experts to make it happen.
Hmm.
And
Well,
how many
that's
people actually remember who the bomb experts are?
hmm well, that's the whole thing in the industry now. In both most entertainment portions, whether it be film, music, or art, the producer credit is actually a great bargaining and manipulation uh, uh, tool. How many, like when you are even famous actors now are bargaining into their contract to get a producer credit. So their resumes become longer and longer and longer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not even be the producer credit for the film they're actually working on. And they actually don't do anything, right? They're just getting a producer credit that looks
Yep.
like they did something and building resumes. Do you know what I mean? This happens like how many times do you see on an album or on a film? Multiple producers, okay? And then you've got a production company. Like who do you actually think is putting like doing the work, right?
Or writing credits.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, contributions and stuff. Like, yeah. So like these things help build resumes and all, but the amount of work is like what they're actually trying to take credit of a finished product. This is like the opposite, where instead of taking everybody else's work and putting a product out yourself, now you're looking at a finished product and trying to be a part of it by putting that producer credit on it. So your
Mm-hmm.
name is associated with it. It's clever. It's clever, and it is part of contracts every day now that's going on. But this isn't just for that either. It's in the fashion industry. Sometimes you get like a big fashion house, like for Anna Wintour's fashion empire. She actually it was Vogue's editor in chief, and what she did is she would master this law by taking credit for elevating discovering small designers like Alexander McQueen, Marc Jacobs, and stuff like that. She spotlights them and builds them up, and then ends up getting credit for their successes. Like she built her own reputation in her own thing on based on their works for setting trends, and how fashion is like hit or miss out there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, well, yeah, it's done in corporate and financial services. We all know that. Sometimes, you see it like with all these funds and everything that get built too. They'll get one powerful house and then everybody will tag on. In retail management, you'll see it more often. The manager of a store, they have everybody working in the store. You don't even see the store manager most of the time, right? But the reputation of the store and how well the day went and what actually was successful or not is all based on everybody who's working there. But who gets the credit and keeps the job? The store manager.
Yep.
Nobody, the higher ups, they only talk to the store manager, right? And they actually they delegate leadership to set performance targets. They instruct everybody what to do. They give them the rules. They actually tell them they missed their mark or they didn't. They're in charge of all the incentives that spark up the employees, and actually they get full credit for how successful the store is run. you know
And
it
they're
makes
also the
them.
first to get fired
Well,
if there's
it
a
actually takes
really.
longer to fire a manager because like they could always say they're working on this or they're working on that, like um but you're right, they do get fired. Like if employee A, if you didn't handle employee A and they're stealing from the business, and you didn't handle it right away, and say they found out that employee A was stealing from the business for like 6 months, oh, you're getting fired at the store manager because you didn't know about it. How did something happen for 6 months in a store and you don't know about it if you're the store manager? Like, yeah, you should get fired. Well, and of course, employee A should be long gone, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
still, you get the repercussions too. You don't get just all the glory. It's a double-edged sword there for sure. Happens a lot in manufacturing, in healthcare, right? Um, for production lines, empowering the frontline workers to supervise, to actually troubleshoot how well things are going in the manufacturing process, to suggest improvements, to actually empower people to do that and then take them farther up. And they get, the person in the front line actually gets full credit, becoming the leader. But it also has the accountability of when people don't do things right either. In healthcare, especially, the profitability of any enterprise in healthcare is not based on those actually providing the service. Does that sound shocking to you?
I, unfortunately, I'm not surprised.
because a doctor and a nurse or some kind of technician does all the work. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
you can get reputational issues and problems if they don't do the work adequately or successfully. But the actual real profitability and reputation is built on the administration. It's built on those that are promoting it, that are putting everything together. Because in healthcare currently, it's not profitable to be an island. You find very little private practices anymore where it's just a doctor and his team, where he would be responsible for the total outcome and reputation of that practice, right? Now they're all groups and they're all like specialty and they're all linked together, and it's the administration of that as a whole that actually makes it profitable or not. Implementing all of the HR contracts with the employees, the back staff, the front staff, and etc. You know, it's very common in healthcare.
Yeah, and what I mean, most of the time you hear about the hospital or the practice in general. You don't hear about the person who actually was the one that helped the hospital get the reputation.
Exactly. Um, it, it's usually the administration that looks at it as a whole, that is getting the building contracts, saving money on the rents, equipment, making the big deals, getting investing in actual, doing things that a small practice can't do, like investing in new technologies, investing in actual research and things like that to build the reputation, bringing in the brightest and the best, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard. It's a tough industry. It's very hard to make any money in it anymore. So like everybody's honing their skills constantly. They've got a lot of hurdles to overcome, especially with insurance companies involved now. Um, so you know, what is definitely based on the administration in most cases, and not just the services that are rendered within. It's not just the doctor anymore, the nurse or the technicians involved. You know, as a whole, they matter greatly. A doctor with a bad bedside manner is not going to build up patience. Okay, people are going to avoid, given a choice, you're going to avoid the one that insults you on a regular basis. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, but that's a small, small part of the success of a practice. So, well, I don't know. Eight key implementation points. I don't know if we want to go to this part first or if we want to have a little fun. I don't know. What do you
This
think?
will work. Yeah,
This
let's
will
go
work.
with this.
Okay, then go.
Mm-hmm.
You go.
I read the last one. Okay, I'll read this
Okay,
one.
I'll read
Uh,
it. I don't have a problem. I'm sorry. I just spent a lot of time talking. I wanted to hear you
you
voice.
know, no, I'll read this one. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Key implementation points. Create systems that naturally assign credit to you rather than chasing individual recognition. Position yourself as the orchestrator who plays the orchestra while others play individual instruments. Delegate without detaching. Maintain control over credit and recognition while letting others execute. Focus on presenting results, not process. Most people care about outcomes, not methods. That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot people will more often than not go, "Wow, that's a really amazing painting," as opposed to, "Man, that person spent years just to be able to paint this."
Right.
Um, Use subtle attribution. Occasionally praise sources, but retain the spotlight. Build environments where your name is automatically associated with success. Leverage both the work of contemporaries and historical uh, president, uh,
Precedence.
presidents. Understand that being the name associated with success matters more than being the originator.
It's like the producer note.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That's
it it's not unheard of where you'll mainly hear about the product itself as opposed to the process of making the product and
You know,
developing it.
you know that that leads us to examples that we could talk about that are very close to, like, I love this part of the subject, but I know you yourself as a musician and a creator of music and lyricist in lyrics. The music industry itself is that way. Um,
Absolutely.
especially the one that the genre you're most fond of, rap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most rappers don't write their own beats, do they?
Nope.
And even if
Most
they
of
do
them,
write a beat, they use a producer to put it together with more sound effects in somebody else's and kind of mesh it together, right?
and yep, to make it better.
Hmm. And so, and yet they get credit,
Mm-hmm.
but still they keep the focus on the artist that's putting it out, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
And
you'll hear about the artist, the song, and the song made by the artist, not the song made by the producer.
hmm exactly, because the artist is taking credit for the whole thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we know, and we're not going to mention names. I don't want to get into that again, but we know some artists who don't do anything themselves. They don't write it themselves, and they don't write the beat. They don't write the lyrics. But what they do is perform it. So they
Yes.
do something themselves, and then take like full credit, like for the performance, and they become famous on it. But they are giving credit to those that write and those
Mm-hmm.
that produce the music and things like that. So like they are giving some credit, but they are making sure that they stand in front that this is them, like they're doing it. Yeah.
Fun fact: 90% of all music that you hear, that is like all 90% of all the hits that you've ever heard, have been made by maybe three people.
Oh,
I
this
you
okay.
can
I'll
literally
name those
name.
three people. We'll name those
Yeah,
three people.
you
Okay.
you could name any song, any song that hit number one, and I guarantee you it is tied back to one of the three people.
Can we name those three people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ryan Tedler, Benny Blanco, and Sia, amongst
Yep.
many. They are just this last, like, say 15 years, right? Okay, let's just look at that. Just look at the
Mm-hmm.
last 10 years, okay? The COVID scenario, like, so to speak. Um Massive writing done by all of them. Now Ryan Tedler, you may not know the name, but he's the leader of One Republic. And I know you might know the band, but he is the writer, and he's also a producer and writer for so many hits. And I discovered how prolific he was with writing during COVID when he and Benny Blanco did a series through Fios, which is my cable company, just like a live Instagram show, going tit for tat on the hits that they wrote for other people. And I found out that everything I was listening to was written by these two guys, and I didn't know. I did not know.
Yep.
I always thought, like, Beyonce. I actually thought
All the
Beyonce wrote
single
her own
ladies.
stuff. Yeah, she didn't write that. She didn't
Nope.
write that. Look, some guy wrote that.
Another one, Umbrella.
Umbrella,
That
Rihanna.
that
Yeah,
was that. Yeah, Rihanna's Umbrella is actually Sia. That was
it's
written by
Sia.
Sia.
A lot of
Um,
Rihanna's stuff was written by Sia. A lot of Katy
jo-
Perry stuff is written by
yep.
other people. Okay. And here's the thing about Katy Perry, she wasn't always like a front person. Katy Perry also is a lyricist and a writer, and she used to give stuff to other people. But now
Mm-hmm.
that she does her own, now she uses other people's stuff. It's like, and the same thing with Christina Aguilera. She has all these songs that come out of her that she doesn't feel are right for her, and she puts them in a vault and they give them, like, to other people. The record companies, they sell them to other people to produce. She did a lot of the stuff that Kelly Clarkson did. Kelly Clarkson doesn't write all her own stuff. She's the one who won. She has a great voice. She won that music show, like one of those,
Mm-hmm.
like, Simon Cowell kind of things,
Yeah, American
Yeah,
Idol.
yeah, American Idol or something like that, or The Voice, one of those. In
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she won that, and but all the stuff that she put out, who after that was all done, but written by very famous people that you do give credit to, but like they're not known for it. Kelly Clarkson was still known for it, like because they kind of buried the
Yep.
lead there a little.
Uh, Britney Spears. Surprise, surprise. Britney Spears
I think,
doesn't
oh
write
come
most
on,
of her stuff.
I was not surprised by that one at all.
Yeah, you
Okay.
weren't surprised?
No, I wasn't because she's a Disney baby. Come on, everybody, like, come on. There were a couple of people that came out of there, like Christine Aguilera, that were good front people, but they also were writers and all behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't the most popular ones. When they came out of Disney, like it was all Britney and Justin. It was barely about Christine Aguilera until she got promoted and got the big contract and everything like that. And she was the bad girl, you know.
Yep.
Um,
Uh,
but still, it's like
uh,
you'd be shocked. You'd be
yep.
shocked at all
An
these
older
people.
one would be Madonna.
That's right.
Most of Madonna's stuff was not. She did not write her own stuff.
Mm-mm. No. As a matter of fact, there's very few people that do perform and write their own stuff because the industry itself discourages it. Like think of all the indie and the folk arts that Let's go way back. And if Quiz is still here, he could join me. If you think of people like Bob Dylan and Jim Croce, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or Leonard Cohen, who would say that Leonard Cohen had a great voice and a wonderful thing, face to look at while they were performing?
Leonard Cohen was it? Is it Leonard Cohen, the guy who couldn't hit a note to save his life?
That's Bob Dylan.
Oh
Oh,
no, I'm thinking of Bob Dylan. Yeah.
Leonard Cohen also doesn't have a great singing voice or anything. He's a great songwriter. He did amazing songs. Hallelujah is an amazing song. Okay.
Yes.
But if you hear Leonard Cohen doing it, you're like, why? Why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because like the industry itself, they would rather put the face of what the pop star, the icon, okay, and then they've got the force behind them. Okay. So, it's just like a big story of people who have tons and tons of music in vaults that other people are getting famous off of, you know?
Yep.
Because
There
like you
is.
don't have the look or you can't hit all the notes or like,
Mm-hmm.
there's always somebody that could sing it better.
I I daydream of getting access to the vault of all of the music that has never been released
Like
from all
Prince's
your favorite
catalog.
artists.
Now here's
Just
another one. Prince. How many
yep.
he wrote so many songs that other people did and they don't even know it was Prince. A lot of
When
people that are famous and have their own artistic careers in music write under another name for credit so that they get paid because they don't want to steal the spotlight from the other artists.
mm-hmm.
Because imagine, like, who would get the credit, Becker, if you went out there and said, I'm out here performing and singing this song that Prince gave me. Yeah.
Or another reason why they actually write under a different name is because the name that they are most well known for is actually under contract. So if they write under the name that they're in contract with, they actually lose a whole bunch of royalty.
They have to share it. Yes, but
Mm,
actually, smart contracts these days prevent that. It doesn't if you do it at all under any name. Eh,
mm,
so that doesn't work anymore. Like, yeah, that doesn't really work anymore. You're gonna have to share it, you know, because the
yep.
industry kind of, those kind of contracts that really lock you down to everything. Like they own everything.
360 deals, they'll ruin your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you used a different name in a 360 deal. Who owns it?
It's always the label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. So like they used to be able to do that a lot, and I think they still do, but like it's hard to keep it, and you're risking losing it all. It's like you're making money on it, but there's always the risk that that money's going to get taken away and then some because you're
Mm-hmm.
not doing it the right way. But so many prolific artists and musicians. And then there are those that are studio musicians. Let's talk about that. Or touring musicians who
Mm-hmm.
really just learn the music and back them up. They're just professional musicians that are not part of the group, the band, or the machine, so to speak. and are just hired to be there for an event, or to work on an album, or to go on tour, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all like part of the machine, and they get credit.
Um, I think.
There's a guitarist. I want to know if you know this name. Um, he has
Mm,
long blonde hair, and he toured with like Stevie Nicks and a whole bunch of others. It is a fantastic guitarist. You can learn anything. He's a great studio musician. His name was Waddy Wachtel. Wachtel. And
I don't think I've heard of him.
I've seen him on so many different tours. Like he's the guitarist. He's right there because he was that good. Everybody wanted him. He could learn any of your music. He played in your style. He was a great performer. He was a great presence on stage. You know what I mean? But he didn't make his career on his name. That's for sure. Because you don't know who he is. But he's very very rich right now because he was on quite successful tours the whole time. You know.
And it's not uncommon as well. Like there's also something that I found really interesting is that it is actually like 90% of everything is done by 10% of the industry. Like
Hmm.
90% of all the music and stuff that you hear is done by like a handful of people.
And it's not so much that, well, things are becoming more of a conglomerate. Companies are Big companies are owning smaller record labels. I was surprised to find out that UMG was just not one group. All of the different small record labels that were under it.
Yep.
That
That's an
for,
yeah. That's also another thing. Most people who like to say that they're either independent or they're on their own label
or
are it's a literal it's basically a shell company.
exactly, you start your own labor just to be part of a
It
big conglomerate. Yeah.
Yep. It is they're not lying. It is their own label, but that label is under like UMG or
Right,
Universal.
exactly.
Right?
But
No, that is
that's
UMG.
how we got to
Um.
where Drake is suing his own record company, because UMG owns both record companies that Lamar and Drake are part of, even though they're separate. They're different ones,
Mm-hmm.
different units of the same beast, so to speak. Yeah. That yeah. Does they want to make it sound like they're on a small label? Well, no, they're
Yep.
not. As long as there's industry backing, your industry, dude. That's all there is to
Exactly.
it.
And
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing. Like it's not actually a bad thing to be to say, well, I'm backed by a label or I'm backed by I'm
It's
getting
not.
help from other people.
It's not, because like we could take two of our favorite artists, like everybody that knows both of us, and now we're going to tell everybody who doesn't out there on the interwebs. I am very fond of Ren as an artist. He's in
Mm-hmm.
English. He's from the UK. He's a young guy. He does rap. He does stylistic rap. I'll say that. It's not American. It's not the way we think of rap here. Although he does rap the hell out of shit, like, and can go toe to toe with many American rappers. And my friend here, Rekkr, is very, very fond of two artists, Eminem and Kendrick Lamar, both of who have absolute total control over their product, so to speak. But Kendrick Lamar has a smaller record company that he's part of that is owned by UMG. And well, Eminem just created his own monster over there, but admits that he would never
He
get
is
anywhere without the help of production for Dr. Dre and all the help that he got. And he's built
I
on it. Yeah.
I believe Shady Records is under Death Row Records. Or was it
Hmm.
Death Row? Which is obviously under UMG.
Which is also under UMG. But they have a more control over their product based on
But
their
yeah, they
contracts.
they have more
Mhm.
liberties. They're allowed to do whatever they want because they are just that good.
Sort of. Sort of. Eminem constantly complains about pushback that he gets. He just doesn't do it. And they often will withhold promotions and things. Kendrick Lamar also. He really hit it big with support of his tour with Not Like Us, because they just as easily could have said, "Nah, we're not going to back that, and we're gonna decrease the promotion value like there in the
Yep.
budget there for that," because both of these record companies need the assistance of promotion pushing in big venues from UMG. This is the purpose, the network. When you say that 10% of 10% of the industry is doing 90% of what's getting put out, that's what it means. You got to know somebody. You're all interconnected, and UMG has better connections than both Eminem and Kendrick Lamar put together. UMG can has more power to get things done than these artists, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
that's why, because these big conglomerates are own most of the industry and it's all interconnected. Um, but then you have an independent like Ren. Now, the thing with Ren is Ren used to have a record contract and he got sick and he couldn't produce as well as they wanted and they dumped him. And I bet you that record company is crying their eyes out because Ren is now an independent and he's multimillionaire and he actually knocked the number one in UK that he had it for all of this time. Rick Astley had the number one in UK spot for selling and distribution of that song. For what I forget which one it was, but Rick Astley held it. And Ren, as an independent artist, paying for everything himself, producing, doing, he's like hands on, but he built himself a good team. He's got a team. He does a team for art, a cameraman, an editor, a director. He has everything, but he keeps his fingers, so to speak, on the pulse of it all. It's all his product, and he bounced last year. Rick Astley finally off number one, first guy to ever do it. And the UK has produced a lot of music. It has a lot of record companies. They couldn't
Mm-hmm.
touch Rick Astley's record, but Ren did it all by himself, and he deserves it. Um, he is quite talented, but sooner or later he's going to get so big. Now he's starting to feel the pressure. Would you agree, Record? He's
Mm-hmm.
starting that he can't do everything himself. Like it's really getting
Yep.
crazy. It's really getting crazy. Um, but he's still producing. I find him quite entertaining. I suggest everybody go check it out. And check out both Eminem and Lamar too because they're really good. But that's just
Mm-hmm.
in one part of the genre of music. I mean, that's just in rap. You know,
Yep.
it's everywhere.
Um,
Yeah.
it is. It's in rock and stuff like that. I think Benny, was it Benny that
Benny Blanco. Yeah.
yeah, Benny that made a song for you too.
For me.
No, for you too, the band you too.
Oh, he may have. I don't know. He's written for everybody when you think about it. I think
Mm.
Ryan Tendler has worked with Maroon 5. Benny Blanco works with a lot of the female and popular artists that are out there like right now. And he's also a co-writer. See, Benny Blanco likes to work will doesn't have to have full credit for anything himself. He's so easygoing. Like you've seen interviews with him and everything. He's like a very he just loves what he does. He like Katy Perry on her album, her last album, as a matter of fact, invited Benny Blanco to work on a couple of things and worked with all of her other people at the same time. And they all just spitball and put it all together. Like he's just really good at uniting ideas and putting stuff out. And he's very quick. I mean, you and I were watching an interview that he did once, and he actually just started to write a song like right in front of us based on
Mm.
something somebody said and somebody whistled a couple of notes and he just like boom 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 like he just said, oh, I know a beat that would go with, and he goes into his computer and pulls out this thing, and you know what I mean, he's a great compiler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of stuff, and yeah, I think it might have been you know what, we could Google that as a matter of fact. Wait, did Benny Blanco, I mean, why am I even trying to strap my being when there's Google?
Another good example of some of a small amount of people being doing the most amount of work. There is a
Mm.
bassist called Carol Kay, who is widely regarded as the best female bass player, and she's known for recording over 10,000 sessions,
Wow.
including from the Beach Boys.
And yet, what was her name again? Cause like I don't know if I've even heard of her.
Carol Kay.
Carol Kay.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. That's kind of like the saxophone player back when alternative was doing like this mashup with like disco and instrumental stuff. Candy Duff like was a big saxophone player that was on a lot of stuff and got
She's
full
90
credits.
now.
Wow, 90, Carol K. Listen, the answer to your YouTube question is YouTube is really pissed off at you right now.
Hmm.
Really pissed off, Record, like you stepped in it. Because YouTube is famously known for writing almost all of their own material.
Oh, okay. I'm
With,
probably
wait,
thinking of someone
with
else then.
songwriting credits that typically go to the entire band, regardless of whose idea we did or who did the work. The whole band gets credit for the song.
Okay.
And Benny Blanco, though, has worked with like Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber, Maroon 5, Katy Perry, Rihanna, like as the big tops. Many
Mm-hmm.
R&B or many R&B artists, but he has never collaborated on a single thing for that Irish rock band, not one. So like, look out, like they're coming for you now. The Irish don't play. Like you did. That's it. You're in trouble.
They'd have to get here first.
You better take it back. Yeah, listen, New Zealand's a wonderful place to visit. I'm sure they'll be there sooner or later. Yeah, like take it back.
I'll
Save
think about
yourself.
it.
He's stuffing. Anyway, that's the Google of it. That's the Google of it. But no, this is like, but for all that it's so common, right? For all that it's really so common, like there are warnings about it. Like you've got to do it the right way, right? Because
Yes.
like Eminem and Kendrick Lamar, just to use those two as an example, they still, even though they're giving credit to other people and they're doing their own, they're working with UMG is funding and helping them promote and stuff like that, they still are staying in control of their product. It's still their face. And they are, when anybody says it was a bad Eminem song, they don't say, oh man, it's just that UMG didn't promote it enough. No, it's like, it's a bad song because it sucks, Eminem. Like, what'd you do? Like, what's
Mm-hmm.
like they're still taking the front seat to the whole thing, which is what you need to do,
Yep.
right? What? Oh my gosh, perfect. And Brain too. Like it's not like he doesn't. He takes 100% accountability. He wants all the credit, so he takes all the accountability too and the responsibility too. And I think Kendrick in Eminem are those kind of artists too. They take full accountability. Now, we've seen other bands like Clips
Mm-hmm.
that will tell you right out. Was it Pusha T? That'll tell you right out when he was coming out with his album back in, what was it, 2018, 2019,
Mm.
that it got industry squashed and he wasn't going to be able to do a damn thing. And
Yep.
he talked about that forever, and
Actually,
that
with
just got,
this most recent album, they had a whole bunch of trouble trying to actually release it
yep,
because the whole Kendrick Lamar beef.
exactly. And that is, Pharrell got involved. Pharrell is a big producer now, not just an artist. Like he is a mover in this industry, and he's got money behind him and connections. And he's known for helping out many, many artists. And he was having trouble getting people to just get involved with it. But here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. Here's the thing. We found out it was all true. It wasn't just Pusha T making like claims for a beef or whatever back with a certain artist that I don't want to name, a certain artist who's suing his record company because he doesn't like the way people talk about him, and he says that they are pushing this other guy ahead of him the way
They
they used to.
artificially.
Yeah, the way they used to push him. See, it's all just
Yep.
sour grapes because he actually says in the filings, and yes, people, I have read them, it's all bupkis because he's actually just crying like a little girl that
Mm-hmm.
didn't get the date. Because, okay, he's crying like a little girl that didn't get the date because she turned the guy down. He then cries about it later that she didn't go on the date. Like that.
Yep.
Like that. Because Here he is saying about the bots that they used with him, and now they're not, and that they picked sides, and he's not getting the credit. He used to be the darling, and now he's not. He's been demoted. Okay. And commented in the filing, it goes all the way back to 2018 and talks about how this artist and the record work cried so much about Pusha T's album and what was coming out that they actually squashed it for him. It's in the filing.
Mm-hmm.
This idiot used that as an example of the power he used to wield within the company and how they used to do whatever he wanted, and now they don't, and it's not fair. Boo hoo. Just, I kid you not. I kid you not. Like it's ridiculous. It's kind of like the Logan Paul lawsuit where he
Mm.
gets out there and whines about his reputation that was trash before CoffeeZilla even said a word. And then point for point goes and proves why his reputation was trash before CoffeeZilla said anything about CryptoZoo. And it's like they don't know what they're saying. Like they don't even realize the pictures they're painting. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyway,
I guess you don't know what shooting yourself in the foot is until you've shot yourself in the foot.
and you're bleeding to death, and you're
Yeah, eh?
wondering like, why won't anybody help me? Like somebody throw me a bandage, and they're like, yeah, right. Like you did this to yourself. Like have yourself a good day. Like they don't want to get involved. Yeah. But let's talk. No, let me bring it up and let's talk before we get finished up because I can't believe this short chapter we still are gonna just finish at 2 hours. That is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's you wound me up. You get me talking. Yeah, I'm gonna blame you because that's what
Okay.
good people do about taking credit. When it's going right, it's all me. If it's messing up, that's you.
It's my fault.
No, you know that. I don't believe that. Do you want to read this one and I'll read the next?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Warnings and reversals. Critical limitations. Establish power based required. If you haven't already established a strong reputation, you appear to be grasping for credit and crudely pushing others out of the spotlight. The law works best when you already have some level of recognition or authority. And then hierarchy, respect. Never upstage a boss by being greedy for credit. Henry Kissinger exemplified proper application by taking credit for work of those below him while graciously giving credit for his own work to those above. This demonstrates the importance of understanding your position in the power structure.
Mm-hmm. And in the
Mm-hmm.
book, they use that example of a trip. He was working with Nixon at the time. Nixon was the president. It was a trip to China, and actually, Nixon's reputation could not have got that actual meeting with the head of China and everything like that without the exemplary skills of Henry Kissinger to bring people together. But when that meeting was so successful, and Nixon tried to say like it was all Kissinger. Kissinger bowed out and just started praising what Nixon did in that meeting to give his boss credit for the outcome, even though everybody underneath knew that that would have never happened without Kissinger. Like there was just no way that it could have got done. The perfect example that he told in the book. But to continue on that, subtlety is essential. If you're too obvious in using others, resentment builds. Green advises maintaining some level of acknowledgement for contributors while retaining the primary spotlight. Well, good on you, Green. It's about time. Like, it's about time you said that. Like, yeah. Look, reasonableness. Okay. And in long term relationship management, protect yourself from those trying to do the same to you. The law creates a competitive environment where others may attempt to use similar tactics against you. And that kind of goes with almost every law in this book. He's always warning us that while you're using this to gain on your endeavor, your perspective, and for moving forward to build your power, believe you that there's 10 people right behind you doing the same damn thing. Like, and you got to be cautious in how you apply it, and whether or not you get run over by the other guy. So, yeah, it is. He makes it sound so hard, like that it's a dog eat dog world. But I guess it is eye opening because when you look at it, it really is. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a
It
fine
absolutely
balance.
can be.
Yeah. Well, he has made it challenging for us to even navigate, like that was the end of the presentation, to navigate all the chapters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like because often, like even with the beginning of this one, you're like, I don't want to take full credit for everything. Like that's just not the way to do something. You know, that's not
No,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah. But and yet it's done in every industry, everywhere, by everybody. Like, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Hold on one second.
Yep. And so, can anyone else think of any other areas where they might uh, do this? Um, I know they do it a lot in. I mean, obviously they do it a lot in science, technology. Um,
Oh, to be honest, didn't it even happen in school? Have you
yeah.
ever been you know, even now in university, I'm sure you have to work on projects. Do you have to work on them with people?
Um, yeah. Every so often we do.
Hmm.
I do have to work on projects with people.
And I know, like when the little bit that I was actually in school, we if you worked on something, there's always one person who's doing one part of it, another doing another, and somebody may
Mm-hmm.
contribute more than others. Then there's that person that just is there, and you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
get them in trouble, but they're part of the group, and the grade goes to everybody, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, and so you got to work together, but you're going to take credit for somebody else's work, you know, either way.
Absolutely. And it's just really hoping that you can that
Mm-hmm.
you get just an equal amount of praise as the next
Mm-hmm.
person.
You're so right, Mrs. Cassandra. Music is the biggest example that we could think of, Rekkr and I together. That's why we use so much of it, because to us, it's so obvious in that one.
Mm,
But if you think about it, it's in movies and series and television. It's in literature. It's in everything. It's in like
mm-hmm.
every industry, even in what you do, Mrs. Cassandra, in like customer service. You're behind a big company, right? And they actually use your skill to soothe people over, to better the reputation of their own company. Like they're
Yep.
not doing the work, you're doing the work. And you're contributing to the outcomes that they have, and how they are perceived is getting a good job done. Yeah, and they're taking full credit for it.
Mm,
Yeah, exactly. Music is the biggest one. Like there's so many different. I didn't know that Michael Jackson wasn't writing his own stuff at the end of his career, and I didn't know that Kanye West hasn't been writing a lot of his either. I was
no,
surprised. Doesn't When you think of Kanye West and his reputation, doesn't he have a reputation of just doing everything crazy and on his own?
but he's known as being a phenomenal producer.
Right. Well, so you would think he's doing his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
but he's
no,
not.
he does he also purchases a lot of beats from other people.
Yep.
There's actually so there's actually a really funny story. Uh, on one of his albums, he decided to name a song "Shoop de Whoop." Was it
What?
"Shoop de Whoop" or "Poop de Scoop"? And
Wait, is that real? Wait,
no, no, no,
is that
it's real. The
okay?
song literally is him repeating "Poopity Scoop" over and over and over, basically.
Uh, uh,
And the reason why he did it was because basically the beat that he did it over was a beat that Drake wanted, and he was beefing with Drake at the time,
So
So
he bought the beat
he
and then
bought the beat and decided to just
just
poop
do
all
nothing.
over it.
And then obviously, now you're going to hit. Okay, I know what we're doing after the stream. You're going to play that one for me. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
laugh about that. Like that's an amazing story. So, no, man, that's using a couple of the laws so far. Yeah.
That 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 is spite of a level that's just it. It's a unique level of spite you must have to be willing to pay the kind of so most songs that you hear, the beat is probably like $10,000 ish, $15,000,
Mm-hmm.
which means that Kanye West was willing to spend at least $10,000 to $15,000 just to piss someone off, just to piss off Drake.
Yep.
It just even to have that kind of money is just
I mean,
something to
and that's nothing.
witness.
That's just a drop in the bucket, like for
And that
what
is
kind
just
of
a
money
drop in
that
the
they have.
bucket.
But from what Mrs. Cassandra's saying, she's saying around that time he was still married to Kim K, and the beat was
Mm-hmm.
something to do with her. So he threw 15,000 down to buy that beat to for his woman, and just to poop on Drake. And like, well, I have to applaud him for that. Yeah. Oh, because Drake was bragging about having a thing with Kim way back, or something like that. That would piss me off too. I'd drop 15K to put somebody back in their place. Of course, I would have mentioned their name a lot more in the poop song, but I don't think I would have just said scoop the poop the whole time. But yeah, it's funny though. That's a great story, Rick. Like that's really freaking. It's really. You know what?
Uh,
It kind of rings true, Mrs. Cassandra, because that other artist is a big braggart. Like that's all he does. He he's a big braggart.
I wish I could find out how much he paid for that beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it whatever it was worth it. It made his point. It's silly.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about how much clout Kanye had at the time. He actually put that out, and it was probably successful, and it didn't kill his reputation or anything. Like that's what it means. Like make
Um,
sure you got a foundation first. Like because he did, and it didn't matter.
I wonder. Let's see. How much did poop at
The beat for poop,
poopity
poopity
poop
scoopity. I can't believe that's
make?
actually the name of it. Like it's like the 14-year-old boy when we can't stop giggling. I know he was good back then,
Nope.
wasn't he, Mrs. Cassandra? He was so unique. I would say he's still being very unique, but it's for me, it's a little obvious now why he's doing it that way, and I don't want to I don't give it as much credit. Like he's trying to be over sensational. I don't think he feels what he does anymore. I don't know. I just lost the feeling for it. It's just too crazy.
This
He sure does
is.
keep up the theatrics though. Whenever he's got something coming out, he sure knows how to get people to talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
It does appear that way. He had a lot going on, Mrs. Cassandra. He's just not the same. I agree.
Yeah, Kanye is he's in a very he needs help. He's not as bad as he was before. I think he's sort of over the precipice of being super toxic and now he's just
Mhm.
mostly toxic.
Yeah, well, I think you know what, you get to a point in the career when you've been around. Like when we talk about Michael Jackson, obviously he's completely famous. He didn't have to do anything else, but he was still putting music out, right? But towards the end, he wasn't really writing himself anymore. Like after,
Mm.
Quincy Jones wasn't with them anymore, he was actually using a team of writers and all and putting stuff out. It doesn't mean he wasn't collaborating with them and it wasn't still his own, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same when he was like more involved with it and really passionate about it and, you know, taking more control over how things were done, you know. And I guess it's like the cycle. It's what happens. Like, uh, I'm sure when artists first come out, they can't imagine not writing for a day or getting music out and just they want to live and breathe music day in and day out. But then once you're part of the whole machine for a while, it could be very wearing. It's much bigger than what you think. And there's a lot of tedious parts of it that we don't recognize out here. Yeah, I hear you, Mrs.
So,
Cassandra.
just to put it into perspective, allegedly, um, Drake was willing to pay $3 million for what is
A
called the
beat.
"Lift Yourself" beat, or basically the one that Kanye turned into "Poopity Scoop."
This this changes things drastically. $3 million,
Yep,
and he didn't get it.
yep.
Oh my god. Well,
This is just
well.
allegedly, though. But to be honest, spite is one hell of a motivator. I, I,
I'll
I know,
say.
I know a lot of people that would do some crazy shit out of spite.
I know, but like that just like that must still really stick in Drake's crow. Like, like that
You
man.
have to have some serious fu money to be willing to just be like,
Well,
you
just
know
the
what?
fact that someone wants to mess with you that bad, they're willing to lay that kind of money down to do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, just the idea of it. Well, hmm. props, props to Kanye though. Like, yeah, he definitely didn't care.
Yep,
Well, I think we should wrap it up there. Actually,
I
there's
think so
there's
too.
more you want to talk about. What?
Not that I
Yeah.
can think of.
Well, well, if we didn't scare you all off, I hope you'll join us next week for Chapter 8 on YouTube, Kick, or Twitch. For those of you that are here in the chat and enjoyed the conversation and contributed to it, thank you very much. We love hearing from you. And for those of you watching later, don't forget to like, share, maybe comment. We'd like to hear from you what you liked, what you didn't like. If you got stories to tell us about the industry or how taking credit for other people's work has it been done to you? Have you
Have you
done
done
it?
it to someone else?
Have you done it to someone else? Was it successful? Was it not? Like, let's have a conversation. Like, because
Yeah.
I really think that this is one of those rules, and well, we still have quite a few to go through, but I think this will be one of the ones that relates to everybody in some way. As big as it sounds that it would only be business, it's not. It's almost everyday life here.
Mm-hmm.
I really think so. So hopefully we'll hear from you. And otherwise, we're going to come back anyway. We'll see you next week.
Exactly.
Like, you got anything else you want to say?
Um. Uh. Um. Peanut butter and jam makes a great sandwich.
Man, record giving out the life advice. I love it. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's good. Everybody, it is good. I concur. Excellent,
Mm-hmm.
excellent advice. It's a fact. All right. See you. See you all. Oh, channel
See ya.
note. Friday's last night's live didn't happen cause so Sunday I'll be talking about Mangione and Morphew and a few other little tidbits that y'all want to hear about. So we'll see you sometime on Sunday. Have a good one, everybody. Hey, Rick,
Night.
you and me next week, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
See you all. Good
See
night.
you then.